friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks workshop. We got a nice project here today that's definitely got our work cut out for us. We've seen this before, and here we go. It's a Gibson, right? It's an old Gibson. It doesn't have a label in it. I'm not exactly 100% sure which model this one is. I don't even try to keep up with that kind of stuff. That's not my issue. And I've had people make smart comments like, why are you fixing them if you don't know what you're working on? You know, well, does it matter? It's wood. I know how to fix wood. That's what I do. So it doesn't matter to me what the model number is. I don't care. But anyway, it's just another one of those. And it's an old Gibson. You know, it's from, I'm going to say the 60s, 70s. That's just a guess on that part too. I can see a serial number in there. It's not worth my time to read that either because it's so faint and I'm not even going to bother. But it's real obvious what the problem is. Can you see what the problem is? I'm showing it to you in the reverse order here. Oh my goodness. Yow! It's got an owie. I think we should put a little like Flintstone bandage on there. It's pretty bad. You can see it's busted in half. It's had a hard life. You can see a bunch of breaks across here too. It looks like there's 2 or 3 places where it broke across here at different times. Now, I don't have any clue what caused this break. I don't have any idea. It may have been sitting somewhere, dropped, fell off. I don't know. But I'll tell you, one of my suspects would be this button right here. That's just a suspicion. I have no clue if that has anything to do with it at all. But this button is in the place where I don't like to see them. You know, this is, again, if you're, for the camera, I'll turn it around this way. Hanging like this, they can fall off, spin over that way, and then the strap pops right off. And this thing could hit the ground and bust that right off. So, I mean, that's just a possibility. I didn't say that's what happened. So if it were my 2 cents, I'd fix that strap button. I'd change that around. I will talk to the customer and see if they want me to do that. Right now, let's take her apart and see what we got. Well, I got the strings off of it. As you can see, it's obviously completely broke loose. The brake gets up into the tuning area, so I'm just going to take the tuners right off of it. Just no point in having them there just to be aggravating. Be a lot easier to do the clamping and stuff without the tuning keys on here. If it was a clean brake below the tuning keys, I'd probably just leave them on. But since it does extend up into where the tuning keys go, we'll take them off. I can tell you for sure this isn't my favorite brake I've worked on. It's a tough one. It's broke on these wings here. You can see on the edges. And it's pretty symmetrical there too. This piece here is broke and fell out. It goes back in pretty cleanly though. Then it all fits back into here. I'm not exactly sure how I want to do this. I kind of think I want to go ahead and glue this little piece in a separate operation and get it just right. I think that's the way to go. But the problem is it's hard to tell that for sure because this is like a glove fitting in here. It's just not going to be an easy one. You know, a lot of times they just smooth across there and it's an easy fit to go put it back together. But this one is not. So I'm going to see what I could do about making it fit up back together here, see how it goes together. I kind of want to know that before I do anything. Yeah, I think I have to glue this little piece back in there first. So I'm going to do that first. In a case like this, I like to squirt the glue out on a piece of paper where I can be precise, get it, you know, like this, and just put it on the piece I'm going to stick back in here. Now I'm only going to put the glue on the side that's getting glued right now. In other words, this side's broke too, but I'm not gluing that side right now. I'm also going to try to put glue down in here a little bit where I think the glue needs to be to make this piece work. though I'm not going to try to go overboard on this because I don't know how much is making contact. But I just want to get it back in that hole back in there. There's a pretty deep hole back in here, and where this all slides up inside there. So here we go. I'm trying to force it into its own little niche there where it's all the grain goes back together real good. I think I might have it. I'm going to clean that up a little bit and clamp it a little bit. I've got that little piece glued down in there, and I don't think I'm going to clamp it. I've got it jammed in there really tight, and it feels like it's matching up real good, so leave well enough alone there. I'm not going to try to glue these wings back until I glue the whole thing back. I'm going to try to do that all at once because I'm afraid if I glue them down, I might not be able to get it to fit back together. So we'll do all of this, glue up the rest of it all in one motion, I think. This has been sitting for an hour or better, and I feel like it's in good shape now to go ahead and see if we can fit up the rest of this. Really not sure how it's going to fit. Looks like it's going together pretty good. I think what I'm going to do is just put the glue on here, paint it all around, paint it on all around here, and stick it together and see what we got. Sometimes that's all you can do. Okay, I've got her wiped off. Got all the glue, extra glue wiped off. It's matched up pretty good. Ah, it just came loose. Doggone it. I thought it had enough tackiness there to hold itself till I could get a clamp on it. But obviously not. Sometimes they just don't cooperate no matter what you do.
To see my mother, she said she'd meet me when I come home. I'm just going over Jordan. I'm just going over home.
Once you get it where you want it, and I think I do have it right where I want it, then you just leave it alone. Don't mess with it anymore because you'll have a problem. Well, I didn't follow my own advice, but I think it was a good thing. I decided to monkey with it some more. I got to looking, and there's quite a bit of area here that didn't have much clamping, so I stuck in a regular bridge clamp here off of the end of the peg head of all things, and it just barely reached down in there enough to squeeze that good, and squeezed out quite a bit more glue. So that's a good thing in my opinion. Anytime you can squeeze a joint together and get a little more glue squeeze out, you're doing the right thing.
I'm going there.
I have that same issue right here on this little corner. See if I can't get another little clamp in there. It's getting kind of tight for clamps, I can tell you for sure, but if I can get one in there, I'm going to. Here, so I need leather on these. If I can get a little piece of leather in there. Alright, now I really am going to let it sit still for a while before I mess it up. This has been sitting drying for over 4 hours now, so we're going to go ahead and take the clamps off of it because I just need the space more than any other reason. I won't do anything with this that's stressful for at least 24 hours. Well, that really turned out pretty darn nice. You can see the little lines and stuff, but once we sand that up, clean it up a little bit, maybe do a little filling and dyeing, I don't think you're going to be hardly able to tell it. So we'll work on that some more when we get a minute.
Back home. Tonight as I stand here, I've noticed my hands here are trembling as never before. My feelings I can't hide, resistance is all that my pride will rush outside the moment she walks through the door. The lips that have kissed her, that's loved her and missed her, are lips that have cursed her at night. In anguish and torment I've cursed as the nights went from darkness till dawn's golden light. I thought of just taking these two hands and breaking that body I'm aching to touch. I find while I'm waiting there's no time for hating, while anticipating the woman I wanted so much. Flowers to brighten the hours, I put brand new sheets on the bed.
Well, you can see I've got it dyed. I don't have any finish on there yet. You know, it's not going to be a perfect match, but it's, you know, it's getting better. I don't have this particular color brown. I used the lightest brown I have, and it's still a little dark. I took water and went back over it to lighten it a little bit, and that helped a little bit, but it's still a little dark, just to be perfectly honest with you. So it is what it is, but we're going to go ahead and spray a little bit of just spray can lacquer on this to coat it a little bit and try to buff it out a little bit, and, you know, just make it where you don't feel it. You'll still see it a little bit, but it won't be too bad. Here's what it looks like after a few quick spritzes with some lacquer, and you know, you can definitely see the discoloration there. Don't get me wrong. I ain't gonna lie to you, but it's you know, it's not terrible. I think we can buff that out and make it look pretty good. We'll put a few more coats of lacquer over it later, and you know, just buff it out, and then it'll be ready to go. Well, you can see I buffed it out with semi-chrome polish. What that does for me is it helps blend the new with the old finish to the new finish. You know, I did spray lacquer across here. It isn't perfect. You know, I know that, you know that, you can tell by looking. It's not perfect, but on the other hand, it's pretty good. It's decent. From across the room, you're not going to notice it. You know, up here close, obviously you're going to notice it. When we put all the metal back on here and cover some of this, some of it's going to go away too. So my point is, I've got about 2 hours worth of work in this right now. The patina of this, in my opinion, matches how the rest of the guitar has been treated. It's a pretty rough old guitar. It's broke in a lot of places. You can see that, you know, there's big old chip outs here on the neck. And so my point is, should I make this look absolutely perfect, brand new, spend another 3 or 4 hours on it, which is $60 an hour, or do I leave it at 2 hours worth of work, $120 to fix the whole thing, see? So I try to balance those things out. If this guitar was in perfect shape, then I'd make this in perfect shape. You know what I mean? So I try to balance it out. Now, I will call the customer just because I don't want to presume what he wants. But this is where I would leave it if it were up to me right now. Now, I will call the customer and see what he says about that. and whether he wants a fret job or whatever, because there's some deep grooves in here, and the frets themselves don't appear to be wore much, but there's some pretty deep grooves in the fingerboard, and we could clean that up too. So I just want to call the customer and get a status of where he wants to go with it from here. Kind of put the truss rod cover back on here. I know for sure the truss rod cover was in this position. You know, this side was up. There's not much difference between the sides. If anything, this side's a little shinier. But the reason I'm going to put it upside down from the way it was is this is bent up, this is bent up, and that was because this was all bent and this was pulled up and curled. So I'm going to put it on upside down, put the screws in it, and that'll straighten the plastic back out. It's kind of a silly thing in a way, but then again, I just think that'll look better than having those ends curled up all the time. It looks good to me. See, now with all the things on there, you can tell it's been broke, but not so bad now. You know, you can see it a little here too, but again, as I say, it matches, in my opinion, the rest of the patina. So I would leave it there if it were mine. I talked to the customer and he suggested go ahead and work on the fretboard, doing a good setup on it. So we're going to do that. Just going to level the frets first, of course.
In the sunlight, that black car sure shine. It reminds me of our better time. Back to a time our love was new, when all my days are filled with dreams of you. Lonely evenings that I spend at home, still keep your picture by my telephone. Oh, what I'd give if that old phone would ring, to hear your voice and all the joy it brings. All my dreams.
This has OMFNS, and that's the old man fingernail syndrome. You can see how the fingernails have just ate into this wood. That rosewood is just too soft for strong fingernails. So I suggest keeping your fingernails cut short so that you don't have a fingerboard that's just chewed up. It takes a long time to chew them up this bad, so this has probably not been leveled in a long time.
I'm always happy to see you.
Alright, you see the process, so I'm just going to move on and work on the rest of it. Well, I finished the fretboard, got it all level, put the oil on there. It pretty much looks like a brand new fretboard, with the exception of these deep grooves that you can see in here that are still there. But otherwise, it looks real good. Got her tuned up to pitch. The peg head seems to be holding just fine, and I expect it to last, 50 years. I don't think it'll ever break again. Let's just see what she sounds like. I think it's a pretty good sounding old guitar. The only thing, if it were my guitar, that I would do differently, obviously, and you've heard me say it before, I wouldn't give you $1 for all of these you could throw in the back of a pickup truck. This whole adjustable bridge thing is just junk, in my opinion. And because of that, maybe it's just my bias, but I feel like I'm hearing kind of a muted tone in this guitar compared to what it would sound like if this was removed and had a nice deer antler saddle on it. But anyway, this is what it sounds like. I'm not much of a guitar picker like old Randy Schardiger. That boy can flat lay one out. Anyway, that's what she sounds like. It's give you a good close-up now of the repaired peg head so that you can see it. You can definitely tell where it was broke. You can see some lines up there on the edges and different things, but it's not horrible. And the darker dye right around the brake there is kind of bad. I wish that wouldn't have been so dark, but it's hard to get it off of there once you get it on there. You know, you can't hardly even feel it now. I really believe this thing will last for, another 50 years. Thanks for watching.